Raw milk spoils in under 24 hours. With extreme summer temperatures and poor rural road infrastructure, transporting it intact is a massive logistical hurdle. Compound that biological ticking clock with a highly fragmented supply base. The raw material must be reliably sourced from 3.6 million independent small-scale farmers every single day. In 1946, the industry was tightly controlled by middlemen. A dairy company named Polson held an effective monopoly over the supply chain, arbitrarily setting prices and suppressing the payouts given to rural producers. The friction in the system served a specific purpose. It kept the fragmented producers marginalized, allowing intermediate brokers to extract the actual market value of the milk. Farmers in the Cairo district eventually refused to supply the monopoly, launching a coordinated strike to bypass the brokers and secure fair compensation. They sought the guidance of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who advised them to formally organize into a cooperative structure that they would own and control. Building this structure fell to Dr. Verghese Kurian and Tribhuvaldas Patel. They had to translate a local strike into a functioning, permanent enterprise. To circumvent the monopoly, they could not rely on existing infrastructure. They had to design an entirely new, three-tiered logistical machine from the ground up. The foundation of that machine is the Village Dairy Cooperative Society. These act as the primary collection points. Across 18,000 decentralized village hubs, milk is collected twice daily and immediately tested for fat content using computerized systems to guarantee quality. This map illustrates how the model networks 3.6 million independent farmers. Instead of competing, they feed into a unified procurement system. By removing brokers entirely, the financial flow reverses. Up to 80% of every consumer rupee travels straight back to the rural producers. Tier 1 guarantees a steady, massive volume of raw material because it directly ties the financial success of the network to the individual farmer. Once collected, the raw milk moves up to the middle tier, the district dairy cooperative unions. These unions manage the industrial heavy lifting. They operate the processing plants, maintain cold chain logistics across long distances, and enforce strict quality controls. In the early years, they hit a biological ceiling. International dairy experts maintained it was chemically impossible to produce skim milk powder from buffalo milk, severely restricting India's processing capabilities. A dairy engineer named H.M. Dalaya successfully developed a process to do exactly that. This technical breakthrough laid the groundwork for Operation Flood, rapidly scaling India's domestic production. Through Tier 2, a highly volatile liquid is converted into a storable, transportable commodity, neutralizing the 24-hour shelf life constraint entirely. The final layer is the apex body, the State Cooperative Federation, known as GCC-MMF. The federation controls the market presence. It manages global distribution networks, handles centralized marketing, and enforces a unified pricing strategy across the entire portfolio. They introduced the Amul girl mascot. By keeping this branding consistent across decades, the federation built deep generational trust with Indian consumers. Because the producers own the cooperative, the pricing strategy defies standard corporate logic. Instead of extracting maximum profit margins on premium goods, Amul prices its products for mass market affordability. By prioritizing high sales volume and farmer welfare over corporate equity margins, Tier 3 captured majority market share and established India's most dominant consumer brand. The output of this three-tier architecture is immense. In the 2025-2026 financial year, Amul's total turnover crossed $12 billion. To hit that revenue figure, the cooperative processed over 12 billion liters of milk. That volume is pushing them into international markets. Amul has recently launched fresh products on European shelves, including an aggressive expansion into Spain. Amul relies on a 4-quadrant matrix. The CAGE framework calculates cultural, administrative, geographic, and economic distances. To bypass geographic and administrative hurdles of exporting to Europe, they form direct processing alliances with local cooperatives, like Covap in Spain, manufacturing fresh products on site. The Anand pattern functions locally, but its structural logic scales globally. It allows a coalition of rural farmers to successfully penetrate heavily guarded Western markets. Amul is currently applying this logistical expertise to a completely different resource: stepping into the role of a green energy pioneer. Using their existing network, they aggregate cow dung from smallholder farms and process it in massive industrial digesters to produce commercial biogas. This operation creates a distinct income stream for the farmers, reduces the national dependency on imported fuels, and yields large volumes of chemical-free fertilizer. That sustainable fertilizer directly supplies Amul's agricultural network, supporting their recent rollout of 100 dedicated organic food stores across the country. By networking millions of individual producers, Amul coordinates immense industrial scale, drives technological innovation, and distributes wealth evenly. It proves that efficient capitalism and cooperative ownership can operate in tandem.